Welcome everybody, and thank you so much for joining us on this Saturday morning. We're so excited you're here, and we're just trying to let a few more people join in before we get started. This is the first time we've done this event, so we're going to be looking for your feedback and your involvement throughout the day. And again, we're very excited. This program is designed for any student, while many of you, and we can't wait to see you in August, are planning to come to Appalachian. This event is for any student looking to transfer to any institution. So it's going to be a lot of good general information, and we have our faculty and staff and students that will be doing a lot of the presentations throughout the day. This first session is going to give you a little bit of information about what to expect today, and then some general tips and advice as you go through the transfer process. So we'll go ahead and get started. And there are still some folks joining us, but this is being recorded and all of the sessions will be recorded throughout the whole day. So just give you a little bit of an overview of the day. This and the final session of the day will be Zoom webinar format. So that's why you're not able to show yourself or speak, but the chat is open. So if you have any questions, if you want to say hello, feel free to pop that into the chat. We have a lot of different opportunities for you to interact. The remaining meetings, the ones in the sessions 1 and 2, will be Zoom meetings. So you will be able to interact with the presenters and the audience. That's where we want you to ask a lot of great questions of our presenters, and get involved. And we do really encourage you to turn on your camera. That way they get to feed off of your involvement, and you get to interact with them. So that's a big aspect of it. So coming up, there are 2 sessions that you will have the options of topics to attend. The first session, and we'll go through them in a second, there's 4 different options, and the second session, there's 5 different options. So you're looking for the one that most applies to you. We are recording every session, and we'll put them up on the website afterwards. So if there's 2 sessions and you're struggling between the 2 sessions, know that about Monday, early to midweek of next week, you'll be able to log back onto our website and see this, the sessions that you weren't able to attend. Okay. You'll get an email when those are up, and you'll also get an email of an evaluation to help us assess this event. Again, this is the first time we've ever done this event, and so we will value your feedback as we look forward to maybe next year. Again, choose the one that most reflects your interest, and there's plenty of opportunities to ask questions of the presenters, of the students that the presenters have along with them, to get their real life experience of what they encountered when they transferred. So like I said, the sessions will provide general information from students transferring to any university. Obviously, it's all app faculty and staff. And so they may reference different events and things that we do here, but a lot of what we do here is replicated on different universities and colleges. The day will end with a student panel where some of our transfer student mentors will share their experiences. And while it will be this Zoom webinar format, we really will encourage you to utilize the chat, utilize our Q&A box so that you can ask questions. And if you do have questions or problems throughout the day, we have a drop-in Zoom room that will be attended to, and you can drop in at any time throughout the day, ask questions about the sessions, about app in general, anything that you would like to know, you can drop in there. So this is session 1. Again, the opportunity, we tried to make it a wide range of topics. So anything from how do you maintain a mental well-being mindset as you're transferring. It's stressful, it can be overwhelming. And so some folks from our wellness and our counseling center will talk to you about that. If you're interested in research opportunities, how do you even get involved in a research opportunity? How do you find out what faculty are doing, what kind of research? That is what that session's about. We have any veterans in the audience. Our Veterans Services Center and 3 veteran students will be here to talk about their experience. And then our intercultural community, if you are from a diverse student population and you're trying to find a community within your new community of an institution, that is what that session is for. The second session has 5 different opportunities. If you're interested in going to grad school, how do you start that? When should you start that? Getting involved in leadership opportunities. There's so many different opportunities throughout your 4-year university to get involved, and why should you get involved in leadership opportunities? And that's what that session will talk about. We also have a global session that will talk about study abroad opportunities, short-term, long-term, different types of opportunities. And then we have 2 other sessions about subpopulations, or if you're of the LGBTQ identifying students, you can go to that session and learn how to find your community at your new institution. Or if you're going to be taking online programs, this is for someone that's going to be 100% fully online and learn about the resources and how to balance homework and life and still feel part of your institution's community, even though you might not be physically on campus. So those are some of the sessions we've got going on. The next few slides, I just want to give you some general advice for transferring. So I realized as I'm 10 minutes into this, I didn't introduce myself. So my name is Kim Morton, and I am the Director of Transfer Recruitment and Retention in Appalachian's Online and Transfer Services office. So we have, at Appalachian, we have an entire office of 20 people dedicated to helping our students transfer. And so depending on where you're going to transfer, there is some set office, admissions, transfer services that is there to help you through the process. That's not really what I'm talking about here at the moment. What I'm going to be talking to you about for the next few minutes is more about what to consider when transfer. We're beyond the how do I transfer, how do I fill out an application, how do I fill out a FAFSA, but when some other things to consider when you are looking at transferring. The first thing is fit is so important. You're going to be living at this institution and in this town for 2, 3 years, 4 years, depending on at what point you are transferring. And so it's so important to find a campus that feels comfortable to you. I know we're in the middle, hopefully we're coming to the end of COVID, and so travel is a little hard, but still visit the campus. At App, we really have not been doing tours for the past year. We're about to start it up on April 1st for our admitted and confirmed students. So if you are planning to come to App in the fall, keep an eye on your email, because we're going to give you some opportunities to actually come to campus and tour. But you need to feel comfortable on the campus in the town with the institution that you are transferring to. So make sure as you're exploring what institution to go to that you do feel that level of comfort and community as you're going through. Do people smile as you walk across campus and you're touring it? Are you getting the answers when you call to different offices? Are they helping you the way you want to be helped as a student coming in? So find that fit. And, you know, for those folks on here that might be transferring from another 4-year institution, that may be why you're looking at transferring, is because you don't feel that fit on your current institution. So make sure you find that. And again, the best way to do that is visiting the campus. Next thing to know is to make sure you are making the decisions. Our family and friends have all the best intentions, but it's your journey. You're choosing your major, your future career that you may be working in for the next 40, 50, 60 years. So you really gotta love it. So, you know, if your parents, again, with all the great intentions they might have, saying, you know what, I think you should be an accountant, or I think you should be a nurse, and because they have great careers and they have they're secure. And that's great if you have an interest in it, but if math is not something you enjoy doing, you don't want to be finding a career that you're doing that 40 hours a week doing. So make sure you're making your own decisions on what institution you're going to travel to and what major you're going to pursue when you get there. This is your journey. This is your life. And so you need to make sure you're making the decisions that are going to make you happy. You want to start planning your transfer early. Again, I know some of you are already through the process, but some of you may not. Some of you may be on here and you're just starting the process. And so planning early is definitely key to a successful transfer process. The earlier you know what institution you want to be transferring to, the better, the best classes you'll be able to choose for that major. As you all might know, in North Carolina, we have the CAA, the Comprehensive Articulation Agreement, and that requires us to create transfer guides or BDPs for every single major at every UNC institution. So if you're following that, then you should be taking the best classes so that when you get to your institution, you're ready to jump into your major without a seamless step. The other thing is applying early gives you access to scholarships and financial aid. We're actually at Appalachian for fall, we're past our scholarship opportunities. We have a limited number of transfer scholarships, but you needed to apply by March 1. There's some other UNC institutions that are even earlier than us for our deadlines. So the earlier you apply, the earlier you get access to those scholarships. Our preferred deadline for financial aid was March 1st. So while you can still apply for financial aid, those that apply by March 1st will get the highest amount of aid. Housing, if you want to live on campus, a lot of times transfer housing is limited. Again, at Appalachian, we have about 300 beds for our incoming transfer students, but we bring in over 1,200 transfer students. So only about 20 to 25% might be able to live on campus. Off-campus markets get tough as we go into the late spring and summer. So the earlier you figure out where you're going, you confirm your spot and you start planning, the more opportunities and options you're going to have for housing and financial aid and scholarships. So the earlier you plan, the better. And the biggest thing is ask questions. You are not bothering us when you call every day to ask a new question. That's what we're here for. We're here to help you through this process. We recognize it's confusing, especially if you're the first student in the first person in your family to go to school and you're what we call a first generation student. We recognize that it's hard. We use a lot of jargon and lingo that is higher ed specific, and you may need to call us on that and say, wait, explain that to me. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about. Ask the questions, call, email, whatever is your preferred communication, but ask questions so that you are confident in what's going on. So that's as you're considering the transfer. So now you've made it to campus, you're here, you've arrived at whatever institution you decide to arrive at. So what are some tips for that? One of our mentors, our transfer student mentors, termed this phrase a few years ago in his orientation speech. And he says, be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And what that basically means is there's some times you're going to walk into a room and you don't know anyone else, but you need to do it. There's some times when you feel nervous walking into an office and asking a question, or raising your hand and asking a question to a faculty member that's talking about something you might not be aware of. But do it. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable to get the maximum experience from your transfer in your institution. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. But find your community. So you may transfer to an institution where you're the only one that you know. You don't know anyone. And it takes a little bit of time to find that community, but you want to. You want to go to events even if you don't know anyone there. You want to approach a stranger in your class that's sitting next to you and say, hey, my name's Kim. How are you? Do you want to do a study group? Do you want to pair up on a group project? Put yourself out there. And I know sometimes that's difficult, especially if you're more of an introverted person. I get that. But you are going to an institution where you don't know anyone's perhaps. And so it's going to be up to you to leave your room, to leave your apartment and go to events and get involved until you find those friends. So make sure you're getting involved with clubs. You go to events that sound interesting, whether it's a big flashy event or if it's a small reading of some poetry, whatever it is that you are into, go to those and find your community. And know that it's not going to happen overnight. You might not find your best friend and your roommate, or you might not find your best friend on welcome weekend or the welcome events. It might take you a couple weeks or even a couple months, but that's okay. Just keep at it. So use the resources available to you. Depending on where you're coming from, you might not be aware of all the different resources that a four-year institution has, but know that you're paying for them through your tuition and fees. So you want to use those resources. Tutoring, the writing center, the counseling center, all of those different resources are available to you and included in what you're paying for. So use them. Don't struggle in silence. Don't go through a class and there is options of a tutor and you don't take advantage of them, and then you don't get the grades you wanted or hoped for. Make sure you're utilizing the resources available to you. And if you don't know what resources are available to you, ask your instructor, hey, I'm not grasping all of these concepts. Is there some tutoring I can go to? Where's the tutoring center on campus? And they'll be happy to tell you. The different opportunities, though, are endless. And that's really what today is, to kind of show you is it leadership? Is it research? Is it studying abroad? What is it that you really hope to get out of your education at your institution? There's so many different opportunities, and you're going to be overwhelmed when you first get here with emails and flyers and different folks all around campus with tables telling you to join this or to do this. And so sometimes it gets a little overwhelming, but just take a breath and look through all the different opportunities to find the ones that are interest to you. And if you can't find them, talk to your advisor, talk to a mentor, talk to some offices like our office or an equivalent at the institution you're going to get connected to those opportunities. It's a fresh start. So you're coming to an institution, you may not know anyone. It's an opportunity for you to reinvent yourself. If you've in the past just gone to school and work and you really haven't gotten involved, this is an opportunity for you to get involved. If you've been a little quieter in your past and now you want to be a little more extroverted and out there, it's a fresh start for you to have that opportunity. So make those memories, make those opportunities for yourself. But the biggest thing is you need to advocate for yourself. Depending on the size of the institution you're going to, you may be, at Appalachian, one of 20,000 students. And not that someone's not going to notice you. We often have faculty that will refer students if they notice they're struggling to our earlier intervention team or to our CARES team. But some do struggle in silence. And if we don't know you're struggling, we can't help you. So you need to advocate for yourself. If a class doesn't come in and a credit doesn't come in as you think it should be, ask, why did this not come in like this? Is there anything I can do? Can I petition it? Can I show you a syllabus and what we learned? Because this looks awfully similar to what you're talking about that we're going to be studying this semester. If you're being charged on your bill for something that just doesn't seem right, call the bursar's office or the student accounts office or whatever they might call it on your institution. If you're just not making friends and you're not connecting, reach out. There's often a lot of groups that can help you get connected on campus, but no one's going to know if you need help unless you raise your hand and ask for that help. So advocate for yourself. And then we want you to flourish at your institution wherever you might go. And so you do, as a transfer student, have a limited time at your new institution. Depending on how many credits you're bringing in, you might only have a year and a half, 2 years. So you don't want to hold back. You don't want to sit back saying I have plenty of time, because that time is going to fly by and all of a sudden it's graduation and you're happy, like our transfer student mentor here was happy when she was ready to graduate. And you're like, oh, I just wish I had done that. I wish I had done that. Don't look back with regrets. Make sure that you're taking advantage of all the things you want to do. Explore the website before you get to the institution and know all the things you want to look into. Make sure you're paying attention to your emails because opportunities come across every day. Make sure you're maximizing your experience, making the memories that you've always envisioned that college or your university experience is going to be like. And then give back. Again, we have about 15 transfer student mentors that help other transfer students come in through the process. Again, like Anna here, she helped for a couple of years as a transfer student mentor. How can you help other transfer students through the process? Maybe it's as simple as filling out a survey or participating in a focus group where you might have had a little stumble here. It wasn't as smooth as the institution had hoped, and you give feedback so that it can be improved by other people. Or you become a mentor or an ambassador or whatever it might be called at your institution so that you help. But recognize that just as you went through the process, other students are coming behind you going through the process. And if you can help make it smoother, provide that feedback, provide those opportunities for other students. And you may consider an accelerated graduation program, an opportunity to get a graduate degree and your bachelor's degree in a certain amount of time. We often hear from our students that they get the boon and they love it and they're not quite ready to leave after 2 years. And so they look into our graduate programs. And how does your programs have an opportunity for your senior year to get some graduate classes, and then maybe an additional year, now you also have a graduate degree. So consider those opportunities. And unfortunately, a lot of the things you're going to hear about today, research, study abroad, graduate, you've got to jump on pretty quick. And so keep your options open. And then finally, stay connected as an alumni. Again, you are coming to this institution for the experience. So how can you be involved and be proud of the institution you went to? So stay connected. We are at App are in the process of creating a transfer alumni network, and other institutions might have something similar. So how can you stay connected, either just as a general alumni with your school or your college, with a fraternity or sorority or other clubs that you get involved in? How can you stay connected after you leave and move on and start that wonderful career in life? So you can, and you're halfway there just by getting to this point, just by getting to the opportunity to transfer. And we're so excited for all that you're going to encounter today and the different people you'll be able to talk to. Again, as you're looking at where you want to transfer, make sure you're making those connections, asking those questions, and reaching out. All of these people are here to help you, be it today, be it at down the road as you're going through the process. So make sure you advocate for yourself, make sure you ask questions, make sure you just fully embrace the experience of going to a new institution. Any questions before we start the day? If you have questions, I don't think I've been monitoring the Q&A, I don't see anything in there. And I see a few people in the chat, but if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. If not, we'll end this session and you'll have about 15 minutes to get another cup of coffee and then log into that first session. Again, we're so excited you're spending part of your Saturday with us. And if we can help you in any way, please feel free to reach out, to drop into our Zoom room to let us know what's going on. Don't see any questions. So I'm going to end this here, and we look forward to seeing you at the next session in about 15 minutes. Thank you all so much.